What is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here, Dean 7894. If you want to get all technical, 2 hours nonstop MLB DFS conversation starting right now, taking you all the way up the lock on a, get this, on a first time ever, unprecedented. This never happened before, Bobby. We didn't talk about this pre-show. It is a Fleet Tuesday. It is a Fleet Tuesday. That's right. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about. We'll be scrolling 5 individual clues throughout the show. On the bottom, we'll go ahead and knock out that first clue for the people, those that are showing up on time and early for the start of the show. And this is going to open things wide open. You guys are going to tell me which athlete I'm talking about. Retired is our first clue on a Fleet Tuesday. Bobby's got me all triggered pre-show. We're talking about
triggered pre-show.
Talking about conspiracies and the lottery. The presumption, like, well, of course, but this is what we do for a living. We literally sit here and say, like, this is the probability. The Dodgers are supposed to win, right? The Dodgers are the Utah Jazz. I'll take the field. I'll take the field against the Dodgers. Give me the field. But the team most likely to put up the most runs, probably the Dodgers. But, 80% of the time, it's not going to be the Dodgers. And 2% of the time, it's the White Sox or the Marlins. And that's all it was last night. We have a sample size of 1. We talk about not having sample size
of 1, though.
We don't? How many times did they draw the lottery last night for the NBA?
How many times have they drawn
Just
it
once.
in the past? How many times has there been question marks in the past?
Well,
you're not going to win. I'm going to let you keep talking because the chat's going to agree with me.
Because people love the conspiracy. Of course they're going to agree with you because it's fun. It's fun to be in. I like fun, but it's ridiculous.
Different than like what you said prior to us hopping on, who was it that you said was the hologram? Tom Hanks.
let's not get into that.
It's different than stuff like that. Like you're talking about, you can differentiate between what's outlandish and what there might be some like there's evidence to that happening last night. You don't just
there's zero evidence.
Lakers for nothing. You don't have no conversations with any other teams. It was they knew it. It was in their back pocket.
Okay. So every single team has a representative in the room. Every single team, right, has a representative in the room when they're shuffling up the balls, the lottery balls. I should be specific. So that's 32 people, right? 30 people right there. The commissioner's there. Zach Lowe is there. I listen to Zach Lowe's podcast. There's a lot of people in the room. Is everybody on it? Have you ever had a secret amongst 30 people or 35 people or 50 people and it doesn't get out? You ever had that before? No, because it's not a secret. Ernst and Young, Ernst has never lied in his life. Neither is Young. Those guys are rocks. I don't know if they're still alive, but that is the accounting firm.
Maybe they can fix responsible. How the balls are. I don't know. I have no idea.
Of course that you are correct. You don't know. And for the record, I don't know it wasn't fixed. I don't know it wasn't because here's the thing, Bobby.
It's just irritating. Like it seems it's so irritating.
You can't prove a negative. You can't prove a negative, Bobby. Have you ever been to Washington State?
No. Why would I go there?
Prove it.
Massachusetts. Like
prove to me you've never been to Washington State. Prove that to me.
I've been there.
Well, that's.
Well, I haven't been there, so.
But no, I don't believe you. I want you to prove to me that you've never been to Washington State.
Yeah, but there's no reason for me to go there.
No, but that's not okay. Have you ever been to Wisconsin? I can keep playing. It doesn't. That you're not getting the point. They have delicious cheese, is my understanding. The point is, you can't prove a negative. You can't prove it's not rigged. How do you prove that? You can't. You can't prove it is outside of the Luka, 2% chance.
You could absolutely prove it's not rigged if you found proof that it's rigged.
Thank you, TJ.
Yeah, but you don't have proof that it's rigged.
No, but I'm just saying it's not an absolute because if you did find that, then you could prove it's not rigged. Then you could prove it.
No. I could prove if I was in Washington State, if I had a video meeting in Washington State, I'm hanging out at the first Starbucks or something like that, and here's my receipt. But I cannot prove that I've never been to Washington State. It's not possible. Not possible.
Mr. Chad makes a good point. Prove to me that it isn't rigged.
I can't. That's the point I'm making. I'm telling you.
You're just fine with the NBA turning into the WWE if it was rigged.
Yes, and the upside and the downside of it actually was, and again, I'll tell you, 50 people in the room, 100 people in the room watching all these balls, and you're telling me they're all in on it? Everybody's in on it, right?
NDAs.
Okay. But they're all, have you ever, Bobby, it's like what, more than
You
two
don't
people
gotta
know
get
the
all
secret.
those people in on the secret. You just got to fool those people too.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's a good
David
point by TJ.
pulling balls
TJ
out.
is not a conspiracy theorist, and he agrees with
You
this.
just got to get some sleight of hand,
agrees
some
that this
close up
was
magic,
probably
and
fake.
all those people are fooled.
Yeah.
Is it a conspiracy when the White Sox put up 15 runs and the Dodgers get shut out? Is that also a conspiracy? That's also a conspiracy. It has to be, right? There's no other logical explanation outside of like baseball does weird things, and in a small sample, the lottery's only been around for so long. And if Cardi was here, Cardi's like, we need.
I don't care what, to be honest. Like I've had enough of care. I don't care.
Sample size is a weird.
Why do we care about the NBA draft? Someone posted in chat, and they were right. They were right. Why do we care?
So then, why even have an opinion on it?
I don't know. I don't know why it bothers me, but it's just like it bothered me when I saw that they won the lottery. I don't know, but it shouldn't bother me. I don't know.
Yeah.
It shouldn't bother me because I don't care.
I mean, I just don't like awarding ineptitude. Like that's if I'm bothered by it, do not award the dopes. Just like I didn't want other franchises to be awarded, and teams that are horrendous probably shouldn't be awarded the best players as well. But yeah, they're saying it's rigged like Wheel Wednesday. Yes, Wheel Wednesday is more rigged than the NBA lottery. But it gets clicks and everybody likes and retweets and people love that, and there you go. And that's why it's just a snowball. And now it's just assumed like, oh, of course it's rigged. Why wouldn't it be? Because it would financially like break the NBA. It'd be a horrible decision. And the upside versus the downside is completely silly. But anyway,
I have a bet.
Okay, what do you got?
I would bet the Celtics in the next game.
Oh, I'm sure you've heard about this. Jason Tatum.
They would have lost last night if Tatum had finished the game.
Yeah. Maybe not. But by the way, officially it's the Achilles, which is a bummer. It's going to shake up the entire league because who knows what Boston does, and they're already financially crippled next season. So I'm curious to see what they do. They might have to solve some parts.
Whoever sold that team sold it just in the nick of time.
Yes. Yeah, it's a bummer for Tatum. Hopefully he comes back strong. Presumably he misses all next season. They had the surgery today, but yeah, that sucks for him. That sucks for Boston. But I think he's young enough. Hopefully he comes back and at least is 95% of what he once was. Okay. NBA playoffs been a lot of fun. Hockey playoffs. We got the Panthers playing tonight. I'm sure you're excited about that, Bobby. But we're talking baseball. It's a 10-gamer. I don't love a lot on this slate. I'm curious to get your opinions as far as what you like here. 7:07 first start. We just got Yandy Diaz is not playing today for Tampa because he's got, I guess there's some sort of visa issues, crossing over to TJ's beloved Blue Jays. Weather-wise, let's go ahead and take a peek at what Roth has to say. One game was rained out earlier. St. Louis, Philly, we don't care about that. That's not on our slate. It is yellow for the Mets. It's yellow-green for Atlanta, green-yellow for the Cubbies. Wind is blowing in, so it's not great weather, but it's an awesome matchup. They still have a team total above 5. The Dodgers look like the best offense today, probably as far as team total, but of course they're pricey. Springs is a fly ball guy. This game would probably be more appealing if it was in Sacramento. It's not, but again, biggest team total on the board is Dodgers at 5.6. They're minus 205 favorites. A lot of good pitchers. There's basically zero. There's no good hitting environments, Bobby. Like none. Find me a good hitting environment on this slate. Like you can't be like, well, I don't like this team because they're in a bad hitting spot. There's not one good one. There's different degrees of bad, right? You can say there's different degrees of bad, but there's no good hitting environments on the entire slate. Unless Texas might have the roof open, which I have not checked. That's possible, I suppose. 70 in Atlanta. It's cool for the Mets.
Wind's blowing out in LA.
Yeah, but I mean, winds are blowing out in LA. Let me see what Roth has for that, actually. Traditionally not the greatest ballpark, but yeah, that's of note. 31 games, not a big sample. A slight bump in homer, a slight bump in runs. I don't know if that sample's big enough. Now, if it was just a sample of 1, I probably wouldn't do much with it, no matter how extreme the outcome would be in a sample of 1. But even 31 is not a huge sample necessarily, but a lot of good pitchers too. Just a slew of good pitchers. So I don't really love the offenses today. I'm curious to get your take. Curious to see what kind of stands you may have. if anything kind of is chalky, it's probably bad chalk. Dylan Cease is looking pretty popular, taking on the Angels. No team strikes out more this season versus righties than the Angels. Of course, there's still no Mike Trout over there. Ballpark's not great. Framber Valdez, all his ground balls, tough to pick on him. Max Fried, awesome pitcher this season so far. Great ballpark there in Seattle. The other side, Brian Wu is good. Just Ben Brown is like kind of the default SP2 if you're playing cash games, most likely there in the great weather game against the putrid Marlins. Overview. What are you seeing? Is there a clear-cut spot that you like? Kodai Senga, who's been spectacular this year as well. Pretty lucky, a little bit fluky as far as ERA. We know those Pirates are terrible. I don't think we have a lineup just yet as far as if Cruz is going to be back or not, but we're currently projecting him in for what it's worth. Jordan Lawler is making his season debut for the Diamondbacks, batting 8th against Robbie Ray, who's been good of late. But, once you start trusting Robbie Ray, that's sometimes when it turns. But, he should be protected at least somewhat by that ballpark out there.
I thought you said Jordan Lawler last night was on the Angels and he's on the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I mean, if I said the Angels, I was wrong, but that was not.
Because you were complaining about Tim Anderson making the lineup over him.
No, that was 2 different points I was making. Which, by the way, Tim Anderson had a double last night, which is hilarious. That's like 3 homers for anybody else. I don't know if you saw that. Yeah, I mushed him into a double.
Reverse mush. You gave him the reverse mush.
I couldn't believe. I think it was like I was kind of half watching the play. It wasn't like a bounce off the wall. It was just kind of like a gap thing or something, I believe. But shout out to Tim Anderson. He still has double power. Just got the Rangers, by the way. Haggerty, Langford, Young, Garcia, Semien, Heim, Berger, Higashioka, and Duran. So they are running out 2 catchers. No jock jams. Well, he'll pinch hit for somebody at some point. Probably Haggerty.
Haggerty, yeah.
But he's obviously been have you been playing him a lot? It's not gone well.
No, I haven't played him. I haven't played him. I played him one night and he was chalky, and then I was just like done with it because I was watching his at bat and he literally just looks lost. I know he hit a home run, I think, on Sunday.
Over the weekend, yeah. He finally got off the.
He got out. He got one out of there. I can't. Yeah, he looks rough. He ate him. I think he's like currently eating himself out of baseball.
Oh, is he husky?
He looks big, dude. Yeah, he definitely looks big. I watch a lot of baseball, so yeah.
The barbecue in Texas is pretty legit, so maybe that'll.
Pretty good, yeah.
Maybe that'll do it. I don't know. I'm not sure. I didn't notice that, but I'm not saying. Yeah, it's not something.
He doesn't look like.
He used to be muscular, so maybe I'm just thinking he's
muscular when he came in with the Dodgers. He just looks like a fat guy.
I haven't noticed that. Did the Cubs? Oh, we're still waiting for a Cubs lineup. They put Hap on the IL, and they called up this 21-year-old who I think does a little bit of catching. I think you're gonna have like
Moises. His name Moises.
Yes.
Is he in the DK player pool?
I don't know. I meant to look for that, but
because I was looking for him too, and I couldn't find like anything on him. Is Cheese coming on? Maybe he'll know more.
Venezuela. He is in the player pool. He's 2K and he's a catcher. So if he starts, now I think they would have 3 catchers. I'm pretty sure, but he's shown some power. He's just 21, Venezuelan. One of their bigger prospects.
Oh, he's a big pro. I got to bump him then. There's nothing.
Well, I don't know if he's in. We don't have the lineup just yet, so
okay.
We're kind of waiting for it. There's the Pirates, and there's still no O'Neal Cruz. So, the Pirates are horrendous. It's Frazier leading off, IKF, Reynolds, Bart, Brian Hayes. Let's see, Canario, Triolo, Bay, and Davis. Speaking of big-time prospects, he was a monster prospect. Just has not quite worked out for Davis just yet for Pittsburgh. I don't know if it ever will. Still no Yankees, a lot of the West Coast stuff. No Yankees, no Giants, no Padres, no Angels, no A's, no Dodgers, and no Cubs. And again, we just got the Pirates. Oh, we do have Spidey Bombs coming. Spidey is working today. He took the day off yesterday. Every 50 likes, we will get Spidey Bombs. TJ's producing today, so he'll pop his head in as well if he agrees or disagrees with the take, or maybe I'll throw it to him. I know he was making some lineups pre-show, but certainly we'll get to some of TJ's thoughts. TJ, feel free to jump in whenever you'd like, even if we disagree. It's fine. That's kind of fun. I like a healthy disagreement. Give me your overview here, Bobby, because I don't love anything. Just kind of running stuff down, and nothing really jumps out to me as like, this is awesome.
Yeah, a bunch of good pitching. I'd say my favorite stacks are the Dodgers, Mets, Chicago, Atlanta. Those are kind of the stacks that I'm looking at. You maybe Arizona and San Fran you can throw in there as well. I think Houston's interesting if Bubik gets chalky, which I don't think he will.
I don't think he will either. He's been very good, but I just don't think he fits bills.
Yeah, I don't think he gets chalky, so maybe you could play Bubik. But yeah, that's mainly it. Like the pitching, I like Fried a ton, like a ground ball pitcher going into that Seattle ballpark. He's really only going to have to worry about Raleigh, and I would say Julio Rodriguez, who went yard last night. I think both of them went yard last night.
Yeah.
So that would be mainly, I think, who he has to worry about in that lineup. Actually, Dylan Moore would be someone I'd pay attention to also. But yeah, that's literally it. So I like Fried a good bit. Cease, everyone likes Cease versus the Angels. The Angels really don't have any like Moncada and Neto, and that's literally it of people that can really tag Cease. But also when Cease's ownership creeps up like that, I get a little nervous.
It's going to be the highest on the board.
Yeah,
like,
so maybe
almost for sure.
At 8-3, I understand why. Like that tag, he can, even if he gives up some runs, he can fight back with the K's. So I guess he would be my favorite. Then Senga. From there, not really sure. Ben Brown versus Miami, I would say, especially with the wind blowing in 7,500. I think he would be my third.
You like that as chalk? He's going to be probably the default SB2. We currently have it here, Bobby. Cease at 53%. That's just a monster number. 53% Cease.
Cease would be the one I'm trying to move off of. Like, if I can move off Cease,
I don't disagree with that.
If we get a Pittsburgh lineup that doesn't have O'Neill, is O'Neill in that lineup?
No.
O'Neill Cruz? No. So I think Senga would move ahead of Cease for me. I'm fine with Ben Brown. Miami, like, he gives up a lot of fly balls. It's going to be into the wind. Who cares? Like, it's Cubs Stadium, so fine with Ben Brown, chalk. Schwellenbach versus Washington. Washington's been very good. James Wood, Cruz. I still think Schwellenbach makes my player pool. Fried versus Seattle.
I like him too.
I'm fine with that. Maybe Framber. I don't know. KC isn't going to get the ball in the air. He's a really big ground ball pitcher. The only person he really has to worry about is Witt, I would imagine. That's pretty much my player pool. Like, I don't know where else to go. I don't know if you have, like, Robbie Ray versus Arizona. I
think that's the interesting one, Ray, because we're projecting him right now at 5%, and Dave's going to be on later. And you know what Dave's going to say? If Robbie Ray is unknown, you're supposed to be over the field on Robbie Ray. And we're currently showing, again, 5%. Great ballpark to pitch in. We know the story. He's basically pitching against himself. Also, we generally I don't like freak out over umpire stuff, but he's got an extreme hitters umpire. And I don't like Robbie Ray with an extreme hitters umpire in theory. Just don't like that. He needs those corners, sometimes more than the corners. Speaking of extreme hitters umpire, Bobby, for a lot of guys, for Brian Wu, extreme hitters umpire, Robbie Ray, Max Fried, Brandon Pfaadt, Shane Baz, and Jose Barrios. There's a couple of series. I guess it's Springs versus Knack. We don't know as far as the umpire there just yet, but everything else, I believe, are series that started yesterday, and then we're just, they're just rotating. We know who's going to be behind the plate. No pitcher-friendly umpires as far as extremes. Some slight pitcher-friendly stuff, but nothing.
I like the slight pitcher-friendly stuff, Dean. You don't like the slight pitcher-friendly stuff?
A little less. A little less. I don't dislike it. A little less. It's useful. I guess if I'm going to push a button.
Mitch Keller, Soroka, Freeland at 5K. Who's Freeland? You know what? I'm in large field stuff versus Texas. I think you can pitch Kyle Freeland.
It's kind of a leverage deal as well. I know we're not supposed to say leverage until at least Dave doesn't like to say leverage, but I think Texas is going to be one of the more popular offenses. We saw that getting shut out last night.
In that case, why doesn't it work? You're pitching.
Well, I mean, look, it's just one of those words that, like, just bring it up to Dave before we get out of here and ask him about the leverage for, rostering someone like Kyle Freeland. Let's see, dating back to last season, obviously he's out of Coors. Dating back to last season, the numbers aren't great. Numbers aren't, and he's going to be facing.
Not great, but this Texas lineup isn't anything to write home about, Dean.
It's not. It isn't. You're right.
It. Wyatt Langford,
he's good.
I'm afraid of Wyatt Langford. Like he made me nervous. Sam Haggerty, not really. Jonah Heim, I'm fine. Like Jonah Heim for power, he would be like the second guy I'd probably be afraid of. Adalis third, or flip Jonah Heim and Adalis. Then it's Semien, Jungberger.
He's terrible this year. Semien's terrible this year.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Jung could probably sting you. I don't know. Berger has been really bad.
They demoted him to the minors. I mean, I know he's probably going to figure things out, and he still might bang out 25 homers this year eventually. But, it's looking like a rough signing.
I can pitch Freeland for 5K in larger fields. So
the only counter I have to that is there's like 8, 9 like actual good pitchers in the slate. Like half the pitchers are good, right? It's not like you're just like crossing your fingers.
Is there someone that's like standing out to you that you're like, oh, I need to lock this guy in though?
No. I mean, the Cease Price is standing out to me, but that's why you mentioned, like in smaller field stuff, I'm probably going to play him. But I think it's a really interesting play. And I saw TJ drop in chat talking about the Angels. I think the Angels are interesting as well. Just, nobody's going to play him. And, you never really know how these things are going to go. We saw they got to the bullpen. I think was Taylor Ward at a grand slam in the 9th inning. And like, again, I didn't like the Angels last night because I liked King. Everybody liked King. But like they still got there. They didn't get to go there to get there the conventional route. At least like somebody like Ward did a couple pieces and then got there. And Freeland's not good. Mark in chat saying Freeland's a bum. You're not arguing he's good, right? But like even bad pitchers will have games.
He's 5K and he's pitching versus a lineup that I think is going to be overowned for the quality of players that are in it tonight. So, in
roof closed, by the way. Roof closed in Texas, Bobby. Just gave that one a quick Google. So I guess you'd want that if you're rostering the pitchers.
Yeah.
Eric's asking about Jeffrey Springs. I have no interest in Jeffrey Springs. Do you have any interest in Jeffrey Springs?
Nope. Fly ball pitcher versus the Dodgers, lefty.
Yeah.
Moogie and Will Smith are going to have some fun tonight, I would imagine.
Yeah. Will Smith is a big fly ball guy. I love him. And then one of the best cheapies on the board, I think, is Enrique Kike Hernandez. I like him a good bit. I know Cheese talks about it. Chris Taylor cracks the lineup. He's super cheap, but also high risk of getting the hook there as far as a pinch hitter when Springs is no longer in the ball game. And we know the story. Like if the Dodgers are up 9-0, he sticks around. And if the score is 3-3 and it's the 7th inning and the righty's coming in, okay, here comes Max.
I do think that game could be more competitive with like Knack on the hill for the Dodgers and
sure.
Like, Shea looks good. Rooker.
Well, let's just annoy Cheese. I like the game stack too. Let's hit it with the game stack as well.
Yeah,
like all
game
the
stack.
Cheese hates.
Game stack.
Double dip, I believe they anointed it.
A double dip.
Mr. Richards talking about Jack Leiter. It's the Rockies.
The game stack doesn't work. I'm with Cheese on that. The leverage thing that I think there's leverage. I think leverage is a legitimate thing from a pitcher.
I would argue that there's
leverage isn't a legitimate thing. He thinks people often misuse the word.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. Fine. Thank you for clarity. I would just say game stack happens organically when you're in a really good positive environment. Like you can game stack cores, or sometimes it's not exactly like basketball when every player gets 5 extra minutes, but if you go extra innings and if it goes like 10 or 11 extra innings, like there's no way of predicting that. There's no model that says, oh, this team, these guys are definitely going extras tonight. But, you get some extra.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's probably the first thing that you've said on the show that I agree with. Roth Roth becomes like the judge of like, he really takes the power in that situation. You know what I mean? Like he's always like, you can't say double dip. Like Roth, you've been playing for like 3 years, dude. Yeah.
I just looked at the results currently in the poll and it's just tilting me. But I'm just happy that TJ has poll abilities. Let's go ahead. He also has the ability to drop a second clue. Let's drop a second clue for the people. First clue, of course, this is a Fleet Tuesday. Do not give me a television show. Do not give me a television show. It's a Fleet Tuesday. In the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. Most of our channels are free. That is not a premium channel. Some are premium. But if you tell me what athlete I am talking about, with the second clue, it is Hall of Fame. So retired and Hall of Fame, Bobby. So we're getting there. We're getting some information.
These are good clues again, Dean. You're so good with the clues. So generous.
I want to stretch it out a little bit. Because there's some obvious clues. I didn't want to give the obvious ones. You can't spoon feed it to the people. Get them. This is RG Premium. It's a full week. It's all the bells. It's all the whistles. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, MMA, PGA, NBA. LOL.
I can't really say how good RG is for just baseball in general. It's the best. There's nothing better. Like to dig. If you like to dig, like I like to dig, there's nothing better. Yeah,
we talk. It sounds like your head's buried in plate IQ a fair bit. You like to look at the plate IQ stuff. You're dropping like the pitch mix stuff on me, Bobby. If you really want to get into that stuff, and
I just like to look at stuff even if it doesn't apply to DFS.
yeah. I don't get into all that minutia.
There's so much stuff you can just go down rabbit holes. But that's the thing is like I probably got to do better with my time.
I don't know how useful it is. I'm not saying it's amazing or it's not as far as to quantify. I don't want to quantify, but like it is interesting to say like, well, this guy smashes the fastball and this pitcher throws the fastball and that 80% of the time, and doesn't the pitcher know he probably shouldn't throw fastball, but that is his best pitch, and you're basically just trying to make analysis for one pitch to get hit correctly. And I'm not saying that doesn't have value, but I don't really know how to isolate that one singular event.
Yeah, I don't do that as much anymore. Like I don't do that as much anymore, but I still like to look at it. Like it's sometimes good to like people. Stevie said this before in his shows. Like BVP usually lines up with pitch mix and how people hit pitch mix.
Sure. Yeah.
I try to cut that part out because it just takes too long. You're right. I don't think it's as valuable as I probably weighed it in the past.
I don't know how valuable it is because I don't really dig into it. I think it's just, and a lot of times I just like players that hit the ball hard, that are, have double and homer potential, and pitchers that walk guys and give up home runs and give up fly balls and hard hits and things like that. So, it's all basically the same stuff in just different ways and how you want to interpret it and how much time you have and all that.
I don't have the time to do it as much anymore because I have kids, right? Can't this stuff as much.
Just, looking at the green and the red. Okay, green is good, red is bad. Like that's oversimplification, but that's kind of the stuff I'm looking at as well. And as far as isolated power and WOBA, and as far as pitchers giving up fly balls and their isolated power, I do like getting into all that kind of stuff. But yet kids love looking at StatCast and Plate IQ. That's what TJ's saying. I think he's making a joke. Am I missing something? I'm not sure.
When I was a kid, I love this stuff. So that's like,
yeah,
I used to memorize like the sports page and whose stats or what. Especially for baseball.
Your kid would rather watch Miss Rachel
My kid would rather watch
Plate IQ.
But I was like 7, so he's got a little ways to go.
Yeah. Every Wednesday, I think it was. Remember newspapers? Every Wednesday they would have all the season-long baseball stats in my local paper. So I would get excited to see and I would do my fantasy stuff.
That's how you could see how everyone was doing, and then Sports Center. Those were your only two outlets. Really.
Do you guys remember for whenever it'd be an NBA trade deadline or something like that, just sitting watching a Sports Center rerun over and over again, just waiting for an update change, just waiting for something on the ticker to be trade or free agency just dropped, and so you're waiting to see the new signings. You just had to sit there and wait for the ticker to refresh and okay, get back to NBA or get back to whatever sport I'm wanting to follow.
I'll give you a Pepperidge Farm. Remember when? Bobby, you probably remember this. TJ probably doesn't. But back in the day, ESPN has the ticker. It's scrolling at all times. Back in the day, it wasn't always scrolling. It would just scroll at 28 after the hour and 58 after the hour. A ding would come up or a noise would come up, and all of a sudden, the scores would start scrolling at 58 after the hour and 28. And you have to wait. You just sit there and wait. Oh, in 5 minutes, they're going to give us the scores. But
we're probably too young for that.
Yeah, well, Jose is asking about Abbott on FanDuel. Am I? I don't. Where's Abbott? That's not on the slate, right? What am I missing here?
I'm not a FanDuel guy, Dean.
No, but that's not on the FanDuel slate. I don't think. I mean, I don't. That's a different slate. That's not on their main slate. The Cincinnati-Chicago game. I honestly have not put much thought into it, to be honest, but it is the White Sox. Abbott gives up fly balls, and he's in a tough ballpark to give up fly balls, but he has a good opponent to give up, throw fly balls against. Give me the summary as far as pitchers. We're going to talk about our stacks here in a second. Anything else you want to say of note when it comes to today's pitchers? Somebody that's tuned in, they just joined the show now, Bobby. For whatever reason, they didn't watch the first half hour. Give them 30 seconds or a minute or so as far as your attacking pitching on this slate. Yeah,
so I think Senga and Fried are my 1 and 2, followed by Ben Brown, followed by Spencer Schwellenbach, followed by Cease. And that's probably it. I guess you can throw Kyle Freeland in there in large field GPPs.
Eric is asking about Soroka Revenge. I have no interest in that either. Once upon a time, he was a pretty good pitcher for Atlanta. He was a big prospect for Atlanta, but he's had some injuries, and I just
everyone's arm is broken in this league. It feels like.
Well, it's almost like they're doing something unnatural thousands of times over and over.
Changing the way everyone's changing their arm angle now. Did you see that?
Supposedly DeGrom changes his slot angle, I think.
Yeah, a couple different pitchers are changing their slot angle, hoping that it curbs Tommy John. With everyone throwing as hard as they're throwing. So
I mean, the science of it is wild, and just you think about, somebody like Nolan Ryan who would throw 300 innings. He stuck around for 25 years, and a lot of those pitchers, they would pitch every 3-man rotations many years ago. It wasn't 3 and 4-man rotations. Way in the past it was 2 or 3, I think it was. I guess they weren't as efficient sometimes, but it is interesting the evolution of the game as far as throwing baseballs. Shannon wants to know Brown or Soriano. I don't really pick on Soriano. Just so many ground balls from him. But he's also not great to roster. It's sort of my counterpoint.
It would be Brown for me, especially with the wind blowing in. Miami, even if they get the ball up in the air, it's not going to go far. So I'm fine with Brown.
All right, let's go ahead and did we mention Fott? I think he's in the bucket as well. That's kind of why I think he should
be. He should be in the bucket. I do worry about San Francisco, but the ballpark is solid. So at 8-7, I think he's fine. I would put him he would be ahead of Freeland. Freeland would be he would make Fott would make the single entry pool, where I don't think Freeland would make the single entry pool for me.
Yeah, Font on the season, a little bit unlucky, 4.41 ERA, but the left on base at 68%, the BABIP at 3.12. Sierra says he's been unlucky. The xFIP at 3.7. That's Valdez. The xFIP is 3.17. But I think he's in the bucket. I don't know if I'm going to play him in single entry. As far as homering the fly ball, it's about normal, 12.4%. But again, that ballpark is pretty sweet. San Fran is not a team I'm afraid of necessarily. Let's move on. We're actually going to bring in, let's get that third clue. Let's get a third clue rolling. And then maybe we'll have a winner. Maybe not. March is our third clue for Fleet Thursday. Again, one guess per clue drop in the Discord channel. I have not actually looked to see the guesses just yet. I imagine that TJ's keeping an eye on it. I should be keeping an eye on it as well, bouncing back and forth, but do not believe we have a winner just yet. Let's see, what kind of guesses? It's not Derek Carr, or Cooper Flagg, or Brett Favre, or Pedro Martinez, or Antonio Brown, or Rick Flair, or Dan Marino. There's Nolan Ryan, just randomly up there. Elton Brand, I believe, was at the draft last night, so maybe that's just thinking he was in my mind. When Pete Rose, the news came out on him today. It's not Pete Rose or Carmelo Anthony. But yeah, guesses are coming through here in the live stream chat. Retired Hall of Fame March. Let me know what athlete I'm talking about. TJ, what do you got?
We have hit over 50 likes, so I dropped Spidey Bomb number 1. It's at plus 400. Matt Olson is the first one. And we got the second one dropping at 100 likes. Also, great point from Derek Ringering in the YouTube chat. Retired and Hall of Fame. Those are redundant clues. You're screwing the people out of one clue because you have to be retired to make the Hall of Fame.
But you don't have to be in the Hall of Fame to be retired.
So
I'm giving you more. Not every retired.
if Hall of Fame is a clue, it makes retired a useless and redundant clue.
Put
Dean was lazy today. That's all this is showing Dean's laziness.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm just going to put that comment TJ said in the back of my pocket, and it will come up later on in the show. Actually, we do want TJ because TJ was kind enough to do our tiers. This conversation came up yesterday on Crunch Time. They were talking about it in the chat. TJ, you want to tell the people what today's tiers are?
Yeah, so we were talking during yesterday's show about Mario games and our favorite ones and the worst ones. So I ranked the Mario games for my tier list today. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous how much this stupid tier list thing always tries to freeze up my computer. So it will come. It just may take me a second to actually get it up onto the screen. But I went with, let me get our Slack chat up here to make sure I actually don't mess it up. I did not rank the Mario parties, the Mario karts, the Mario tennises, the Mario golfs. I just kept it with straight up Mario games. And so first one, we have Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. Next up,
that's the original, correct? That's the original game?
No.
Oh, that's
Super
Nintendo
was their second system.
Oh, you're right.
I'm totally lost. I know there was one Super Nintendo game that I played. Oh, the N64 one I played a bunch too.
I did not rank. This is the one I wanted to put on the list somewhere, but I didn't rank Super Mario, or I didn't rank the what's one we were just talking about, the
Mario
N64
Kart
one, because I couldn't put it ahead of Super Mario World or Super Mario Bros. 2. But at the same time, I didn't want to have it in 3 or below because it deserves to be higher than that. So that was a tough one to leave off of the list. But I'll pull it up here in just 1 second. Here we go. I actually got my computer unfrozen. So we got Super Mario World 1 for the Super Nintendo, Super Mario Bros. 3 for the regular old Nintendo Entertainment System, the first system. That is tier 2. Tier 3 is Super Mario Sunshine, the first for the GameCube. It came out with the GameCube. Second, Super Mario World 2 came out for the Super Nintendo. It was nowhere near as good as the original one. And then Super Mario Bros. 2. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but that's kind of the one that nobody really remembers from the original.
I don't remember any of these. I remember 2.
Super Mario Bros. It's the first one, the very first one that everybody's played before. It came with the first Nintendo. And then the second one was just kind of bleh. And the third one was one of the best games ever made. And so we got that one, Super Mario Bros. 3, in the top slot, left out the original one, and dropped the second one all the way to the bottom.
Peter making me laugh, saying clue number 4 is older, by the way. With clue number 5, elderly. The chat's having a good time with these clues. The thing is, I had a lot of clues that were too easy. So I backloaded the clues. And we'll see.
God.
I have 6, 7, 8, 9 just in case we need them. But we can't make it too easy. You got to earn it. You got to earn the premium. All right, let's go ahead and throw some teams in some tiers. We have 20 teams to rank. Of course, we're talking about the main slate. The first game we're talking about, it is the Rays. The Rays at Toronto. Shane Baz, Jose Barrios, Chandler Simpson, the speedster, sitting off. No Yandy Diaz. He's not going to be available for the series, apparently. He could not get into Toronto. There's some sort of visa issues, I suppose. Blue Jays taking on the Rays. 8 total. Toronto's a slight favorite here. Where do you have the Blue Jays and the Rays?
Toronto. I'm going to throw in Super Mario World 2. TJ likes the Blue Jays, it seems, a little bit more than I do versus Baz.
Shocker.
Vlad would be fine. Dalton Varsho, I think, are the 2 bats that I would like the most from Toronto. The Rays can go in Super Mario Bros. Sunshine. I never heard of this game, but
I haven't either. It's N64, I believe.
Yeah. I missed it. But yeah, Aranda, I love tonight. Absolutely love him. Lefties versus Barrios can give him trouble. You can go Brandon Lowe, but I think I'd prefer Aranda. And even before Brandon Lowe, I think Junior Caminero is interesting at third base. So those would be the three Rays that kind of stand out to me.
Yeah, Lau is really cheap and rightfully so. He's not been good, but second base is kind of a wasteland. So I like to not spend a lot of money. I don't want to overspend necessarily on the wasteland. So it's a good way to get in and out. And also, like, he theoretically has some power to bang one out. I think he's 2.6 on FanDuel. Like Marcus Semion's another guy.
Jansen Revenge too. Sorry for cutting you off, Dean.
Who's got revenge?
Danny Jansen.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your favorite guy. You love Danny Jansen in the 9-hole there.
Yeah. Super Mario Bros. Sunshine TJ. What are we doing? The Rays.
This is going to be so confusing with the 2s and the 3s, and
I'm so confused. Yeah. I don't even. I know yeah. I guess that works.
They're wondering if Donkey Kong qualifies. Yeah, that's where Mario, I think, first appeared in the Donkey Kong games. No Dr. Mario, Butto's asking. Lucas saying Mario 64, that is the GOAT game.
He said no Mario Kart or any of those tennis or any of those. So.
Yeah. Mario's like Air Bud. He's a multi-sport athlete. Pirates taking on the Mets. Kodai Senga has been spectacular this year. There is some regression coming for him. It just basically has to on the season. He has what is his ERA? 1.43. His Sierra is almost 4. They're not giving up homers. Left on base 87%. But I don't know. I don't think the Pirates are the team that's going to correct that necessarily, especially without O'Neill Cruz. Good ballpark as well as far as throwing baseballs. Mitch Keller on the other side. Mets monster favorites -260. Where do we have the Pirates and the Metropolitans?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think the Pirates are going to be the team to correct his regression. So put them in Super Mario Bros. 2, especially without O'Neill Cruz. The Mets I like a good bit. Whether it's Lindor, I think Soto's the best play. I'm going to go. We can put them in Super Mario World. I like the Mets. Nimmo is fantastic. Alonso. The only thing that I don't love about this situation is the park. So maybe that would make me put them in Super Mario Bros. 3, but they're fine up there.
Let's see. As far as I was looking at Weather Edge, 9.6% dip in homers, 2.8% dip in runs, 51 similar games played there, and it's not a good park as is. Kind of a crosswind coming in from right field to third base, 10 miles per hour. It's 64 as far as the temp. Let's move along. More games that we have to throw in some tiers. All right, we got the Padres not too long ago. We'll mention that in a second. But moving on, we're talking about the Nats and the Braves. 8.5 total. Soroka, Spencer Schwellenbach. Atlanta does have a team total of 5. I know Soroka's got that revenge in his heart, but Atlanta does look like one of the more appealing offenses today. There's no we have the backup catcher here. No Sean Murphy. It's Drake Baldwin in the 5-hole. Ozzy Albies might not be good, just like as I say, maybe he's just not very good. I know we want him to be good, but he may not be very good. Appropriately priced, possibly. And as far as Washington, at least up top, with Abrams and Wood, you have a catcher in the 4-hole. Cruz shows some abilities as well. He's kind of buried a little bit in the 7 spot, but where are you throwing Washington and Atlanta on the board?
I knew TJ was going to like the Nats more than me. I put the Nats in Super Mario World. I like James Wood. I like CJ Abrams, but I just don't love the lineup outside of that. So in that slot's fine. And then the Braves, Ozuna, Olsen, they're fantastic. Riley. I like Baldwin a good bit. Eli White. I'm with you. Maybe Ozzy Albies isn't great. Like if you just look at the numbers, he hasn't been good. So for the Braves, I think in 5 minutes, put them in Super Mario World. Maybe we'll have more offenses up there than. You know what, TJ? Bring the Mets down because of the ballpark. Bring the Mets down. Leave the Braves up there. Yeah.
I like the in-ranking shuffling. Like the adjustments.
I want to think through it. Like it's easy for me to think through it.
You're looking at a big picture. No, I'm saying I wasn't saying that sarcastically. I'm saying I like that. I like the kind of circling back. And especially for Albies, switch hitter, he's worse against righties. 139 ISO dating back to last season. Better versus left-handers. That's where he's more appealing. But and you mentioned Baldwin. He's shown some power. And he's cheap and he's batting in the 5-hole. So I'm certainly interested there.
I know you're big on the wraparound too. Like you get a pretty good wraparound with White, Riley, Olsen.
Well, it's funny you skipped the 9-hole Allen, so like I don't know.
You don't have to
I'm
play
not big,
Allen. You don't.
I'm not big on Allen. He's not good. Yeah,
he stinks.
And he almost blew the game yesterday. I don't know if you were watching that. You used to watch a lot of baseball, but he had the winner just to throw the ball to first, and he threw it away. And Washington tied it up. Atlanta ended up getting a walk off in the bottom of the ninth, I believe, but he screwed over Soriano. If you care about such things as like saves in your season long, you probably don't because you're probably not in one. The Marlins are taking on the Cubs. That is Ben Brown, Valente, Beloso. Beloso does not look good. We know that Marlins bullpen's not very good. We also know this ballpark is not perfect today for hitting. I'm going to give one more refresh here when it comes to the weather edge, but last we saw it was not looking great. Yeah, 90 games, pretty big sample. Wind coming in essentially from dead center, 8 miles per hour. Temp 58. 90 previous games. Homers down 30.4%. Runs down 9.5%. We are projecting, by the way, Moises to draw the start. No lineup just yet, unless I missed it or unless it's just dropped. We got the Giants, but yeah, we potentially might have a 2K catcher that has some ability. So be on alert for that for Moises. We're projecting him to bat today in the 7-hole, but I believe they're carrying 3 catchers right now, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, just gotta be aware of that. We'll see. We'll let you know if that lineup comes. Of course, Crunch Time will be on top of it as well. The Marlins, not good. Facing Ben Brown, serviceable. What do we got?
Yeah, the Marlins, the only batter really likes Agustin Ramirez, and he's hitting into the wind in Wrigley, so that's a good spot for them. Super Mario Bros. 2. The Cubs, Super Mario World, very good spot for the Cubs versus the pitcher there for who's the Marlins pitcher again?
Beloso.
Beloso, yep. Just gonna get creamed by lefties. Tucker is fantastic. I like PCA. I know he was chalk yesterday. Didn't get there. I can go right back to PCA. Bush, Suzuki. I think these guys are all very much in play. The 2K catcher makes the 5-man work. So, I mean, I think the Cubs, if it was better weather, they're probably the highest owned stack. So their combinatorial ownership probably won't be as high. Or it'll still be relatively high, but it isn't going to be like overly high, right? It's going to be more in line with like Texas and the Dodgers than it probably would be otherwise.
Beloso, a lot of fly balls, tons of fly balls. Again, maybe they died today because of the winds. Maybe they just sneak over as opposed to going out by 5 or 6 rows. But and that's probably how the Cubs stack lives and dies. Did those balls sneak over the fence or did they not? And I don't know. I think I'm going to be under. I think I'm going to be under in Chicago. I don't feel great about that stand. And for what it's worth, he's had a good ERA dating back to last season, 3.63. We're stretching the sample size.
So you wouldn't 5-man them? You're off the 5-man?
Well, again, I'm not playing the 30,000. I'm not making my lineups with that in mind. I'll throw stuff in there just to throw stuff in there, but I'm thinking more of like single entry stuff. Yeah. And I think the Cubs are going to be popular. And again, like I said at the top of the show,
I understand what you're doing, but
yeah, I don't love anything is the point. And I think Chicago is going to be one of the most popular teams. Now, I also like the Dodgers, so maybe I'm just being hypocritical because I'm taking another stack that's probably going to be popular. We'll see. I'm curious to see how ownership lands, but I'm going to first play Ohtani before I play Tucker. If that's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
So if I have to pick between those two, that's kind of where I'm at. Okay. Let's move on. Let's give the 4th clue. The 4th clue is not older. The 4th clue for today is Fleet Thursday. Because I have a lot of really good clues that were just like, oh, that's who it is.
Tuesday.
Thank you, TJ. Yes, it's a Fleet Tuesday. I keep forgetting what day it is. It is Fleet Tuesday. The first 3 clues: retired, Hall of Fame, March, Cup. Cup is the 4th clue. Cup is the 4th clue. Retired, Hall of Fame, March, and
I love your face getting red because I'm about to bash these clues.
Yeah, well, people, if they can't get something right, their first reaction is they can't blame themselves. Nobody has accountability, so they gotta blame something else. I didn't lose my DFS team because I made bad lineups. The players just didn't perform. It's on them. It's definitely their fault. It wasn't bad lineup construction. Okay. So the Rockies and the Rangers, 8.5 total. A little different lineup here for Texas. Again, starting against a lefty. So you got somebody like Jock Jams, Peterson lurking on the bench. Haggerty is leading off. He is a switch hitter for what it's worth, so maybe he sticks around. Higashioka, I think he's doing the DHing today. They're running out their 2 catchers. Langford batting second, Young, Garcia, Semien, Heim, Burger Time, Higashioka. Speaking of video games, they're talking about it. There you go, Burger Time. If you're old enough, you know. And the Rockies, not great, and they're out of cores, but Jack Leiter's been sketch. Where do you have Colorado and Texas?
I'm in alignment with TJ. You can put Colorado and Sunshine Mario and Texas and Super Mario Brothers 3. Brenton Doyle, I think, is fine for the Rockies. Toglia. Ryan McMahon, I'm fine with on the slate. Like 3,500 for McMahon, lefty, who I don't really care. It's a good price tag for him. Texas, I don't love. I need to go through Higashioka. I didn't see he made the lineup. But Heim, Jung, Wyatt Langford would be the guys that stand out. Adalis. Everyone else is just meh. So, yeah, for ownership reasons, and everyone's going to be on Texas, and I just want to be under on Texas, but we'll put them in 3 because they're projecting well. You have to consider
if you stretch it back to last season, it'll look a lot better, Texas. But, this year, Adalis has been terrible. Semien's been terrible. Berger's not been great. The sample size against lefty is not huge, but, looking, you assume they haven't significantly changed. Higashioka, 108 at-bats, really good ISO at 269. Berger almost 200. Langford at 276, which is a pretty monster number. Haggerty, nothing special.
Langford would stand out a ton. I bet Higashioka I'm going to get over on. I'll be over on Higashioka. Those 2 are the ones that I like. But
are you trying to make the board aesthetically pleasing here, Bobby? Because so far we've just 2 and 2 and 2 and 2.
I have TJ helping me out, so yeah.
Okay, so we have, I believe, 5 more games. We do. We have several people in the Discord guess correctly who today's Sleep Thursday was, and I think Ravens fan was first. So several people guessed it. So turns out you're not going to believe it, Bobby. Maybe the clues are not as horrific as a first thought. Maybe they're not as terrible. I don't know. It's subjective. Kansas City taking on the Astros for Amber Valdez. All his ground balls taking on Chris Bibich, who's been pretty good. He will not have the platoon against any of these hitters. He's facing 9 righties. Where do we have the Royals and the Astros?
The Royals, my team last night, almost shipped me all the money. The Royals tonight I'm not playing. Bobby Witt, I think he's probably the only play I'm interested in. You can put them in Super Mario World 2 just because he's Bobby Witt, but the rest of the lineup's pretty atrocious. Versus a ground ball pitcher, and they really can't get the ball in the air, so no interest in the Royals, really. Houston versus Bubic. This was going to be like an ownership game for me. It looks like Bubic is winning the ownership game, so put Houston in Super Mario World. If Bubic was chalky, I'd probably have more interest in Houston bats, all those righties versus the lefty.
Just to be clear, you said Super Mario World 2, right? That's the way you're talking about. You wanted
Super Mario World
correct?
2, yeah, 2.
Yeah. Okay. The original's up top.
I apologize for putting the sequels in there and the originals in there. That was a terrible idea, and I didn't.
It's all right. It's all right. You did the.
You guys actually said it out loud.
Yeah, two guys I have interests on from Houston, Paredes and Diaz. I think are pretty interesting. I guess Pena you could throw in the mix. Cam Smith as well. If that's what I was doing, if Bubic ended up chalky, I was going to have like one Houston stack, and that was going to be the 5-man. I'm pretty positive, but now I don't have a ton of interest in Houston.
4 more games. Crunch time coming in about 15 minutes or so. We have Kirkwood, KirkDiese, and I believe it's Dave Potts. Cheese is good. 2-time millionaire winner. You got chief meteorologist Kevin Roth, who I wanted to see if he updated his article, if anything's changed. Really nothing of significance. He did change it, but I think it's mostly for games that are not relevant to us, not on the main slate. I will go ahead and drop that in chat for the people. As you click on that, hit that like button. Oh, it's not Roth. Who is it? Who's TJ?
Me.
Oh,
it is.
Look, it's TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players / producers / content providers. Look, you're spinning all the plates today, TJ. Look
That's
at you.
That's the one. Yeah.
Company guy, Dean. He's country gay.
I was originally filling in for Roth today. Like as of last week, he needed Tuesday off, but then Steve, the wonderful producer Steve, the incredible producer Steve, had a baby over the weekend, and so I'm now Steve for the next few weeks.
Yeah, shout out to I haven't heard anything, but hopefully everything is going well for mother, child, Steve. Shout out to him. Have you heard something, TJ?
Everything's going well, and he told me I was allowed to share it today, so I figured I'd that's why I figured I'd pop in and say it. But yeah, everybody's home safe and sound.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything either because it's not my business, but if it's public now, shout out to Steve and his family. Hope everybody is happy and healthy and resting. All right, let's knock out these last 4 games. We will drop the 5th clue here just for fun because we have a winner, but this one I think really might have brought it home. The 5th clue was Root. Root is the 5th clue. Retired, Hall of Fame, March, Cup, Roots, and I had more clues if necessary. Maybe we'll just drop them just for fun later on in the show. New York is taking on Seattle. No lineup just yet for the Yankees. 7.5 total. 2 really good pitchers. Max Fried, all those ground balls, does not give up homers, and probably won't give them up in Seattle either. So, I don't want to play Seattle. Didn't sound like you want to play Seattle either. Woo's really solid as well. Of course, the Yankees can bop up anybody. We saw Grisham go double dong last night. I presume he'll once again be leading off tonight. And Aaron Judge, still batting over 400. Yeah, just incredible. Yankees, Mariners, what do you got?
Yeah, the Yankees. Judge walk really got me last night. Couldn't just make one out, just making out, but I was literally sweeping the site. Put the Yankees in Super Mario Sunshine. Woo is very strong against righties. It's the lefties that, outside of Judge, the lefties that I'm more concerned about. That would be Grisham, Rice, Wells. I don't know if Dominguez makes the lineup. Maybe TJ's right. Leave them in Super Mario Brothers 3. Seattle's in the Super Mario Bros. 2. I really like Fried. Not interested in that was a bad run out last night for me, I'll tell you that much.
Well, what did you need? You said you needed Judge to do something or not do something?
I needed Judge to get out, and the slate's pretty much over. Like 7 out of 10. I was winning every tournament on the site.
You had Wells.
I had Wells and Grisham. Yeah, no Judge.
Yeah. I had Yankees, but no Wells, unfortunately. That was
it
a bad call.
It was an awful run out because then Wells misses his second home run of the game, but that wouldn't even mattered. There was just like stuff in between that it just extended the inning and whatever. Still a good night though, but it is what it is. The Yankees, leave them in Super Mario Brothers 3 in Seattle and the bottom there.
Not sure if Tim is usually lurking, but shout out to Tim also. He split the 121. I believe he chopped the 121 single entry. So yourself, you had a good night last night. Tim did as well. I did not, at least not in the baseball streets. Did well in basketball. We've been doing all right in basketball during the playoffs. That's been pretty fun. Looking forward to tonight's 2 games as well. Got 3 more games left as far as baseball. Angels, Padres, Dylan Cease, most popular pitcher on the board, taking on Jose Soriano, who I just don't like stacking against because he just is a ground ball machine. He's not an electric pitcher. He's not amazing, but he keeps the ball on the ground. Doesn't mean you can't stack against him, but I'm averse to doing so. Where do you have the Angels and the Padres?
Ooh, TJ likes the Angels. I'm on Super Mario World 2 for the Angels. I don't love this Angels lineup. Like, there's the only 2 guys that really stand out for me are Neto and Moncada. Maybe I'm missing something because TJ might see something I'm not seeing.
You're seeing leverage.
Yeah, that could be it.
He's being mega owned as well as he's got a high walk rate. So I don't like anytime there's somebody who can blow up, who's getting really high ownership. I like playing the offense.
No, I think that's fine. Put the Angels in Super Mario Brothers Sunshine. Then I just can't figure out which bat I want to. I know I definitely want to play Neto. But I don't love this. I don't love the entire.
Soler and Ward are still too cheap.
Yeah.
Soler, Ward, no Hoppy. Those are the 4 guys that I like. And then I think Adele actually made the lineup.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Tim Anderson gets a double, and they don't even start him the next day. Unbelievable. He gets benched today. It's a bummer for him. Bobby, get some homers ready for us as well. I'm going to ask you to fire up some Bobby bombs after we knock out these last 2 games. Crunch time coming on in about 10 minutes or so. TJ, Kirkwood, KirkDiese, and Dave Potts. Arizona, the Giants, 7.5 total. Brandon Pfaadt, Robbie Ray. Sort of a coin toss here, according to Vegas. Slight lean to the Diamondbacks. It is a revenge game for Robbie Ray and his tight pants. He is theoretically protected by this ballpark with his fly balls, but he also could walk the world. Jordan Lawler is making his season debut for Arizona. Speed power combination, one of the biggest prospects in all of baseball of note. Where do you have Arizona and the Giants?
TJ got Arizona correct. I like Arizona tonight. Lawler's at 2K, shortstop. Fine with getting to that. Corbin Carroll, 2 dongs last night. He's just been on a heater. I like him. Kettle Marte at second base. Like him a good bit. Suarez, Grichuk versus the lefty, which has been a thing for a few years. I think I'll be overweight on those guys. Gurriel versus the lefty. Arizona's nice. The only thing that stinks about Arizona is this ballpark. The wind is blowing out. So Super Mario Brothers 3 for Arizona. The Giants, I like the Giants somewhat, like Adames, Yastrzemski, and Chapman. Those would be the 3 that I'd have interest in. I think they're fine in Super Mario Brothers World too. Yastrzemski's been on a heater as well. He's been hitting the ball pretty well. So, yeah. We
got our 2K catcher for Chicago. Moises is in the lineup for the Cubbies.
He's a prospect, correct?
Yeah, he's got some power. He's just 21. He's just 21. He got called up for Hap. It's also useful, I guess. Well, catcher's kind of strong these days, but he is catcher eligible. He's actually DHing. He's a husky boy. I think they list him at 5'8", 200 or so. I'd never seen him play before, but I saw a picture of him. Just kind of looking at his stats. What was that?
He's the catcher for the Cubs is the 5'8" guy, not the Lawler guy.
Wait, no, I'm talking about I was talking about his height. You're talking about the price, or what are you talking about?
Which player is that between the two?
Moises. Oh yeah. The player for Arizona. No. Lawler is not a husky as far as I can tell. He's a speed power guy, but this catcher for the Cubs, who he's not catching, but he's catcher eligible. That's what he was doing, I think, in the minors. At least he has catcher first base eligibility, and I believe they're going to be carrying 3 catchers at least for the foreseeable future until happen. We'll see. He's kind of a husky fella. All right, let's knock out this last game. It's the Athletics, the Dodgers, possibly the best offense combination amongst the two. When you figure out the 2 teams playing baseball here, 9.5 is the biggest total, a collective total on the board. The Dodgers are the biggest total at 5.5, taking on Jeffrey Springs. Jeffrey Springs, all his fly balls. Landon Knack is just not especially good either. If this game was being played in Sacramento, it would really be popping. It's not, so it isn't. It is just a little bit less. No lineups here just yet. We are expecting Enrique Kike Hernandez to draw a start. We're also expecting Chris Taylor. So just be aware that he might get just 2 at-bats if he's hitting 9th and a righty comes in, which presumably that's who will follow Springs. But he's also 2K. What do you have as far as the Dodgers and the Athletics?
Yeah, the Dodgers are a great play. They're going to be in the Super Mario World tier for me. Shohei is not – you don't really need to say how good Shohei is. He's good at the baseball stuff, really good at the baseball stuff. Mookie, Will Smith, Pages, play all these guys. Conforto I'm fine with if he gets in there. You liked Kiki, first base, second base eligibility.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And then the Athletics are fine in Super Mario Brothers 3. I like the Athletics. Rooker, love him tonight.
I do too.
Shea, love him tonight. Soderstrom, Lawrence Butler, Urias down there in the 8 hole. Your buddy Kurtz, I just think he stinks at this point, but
I mean, I think he's still figuring stuff out, but yeah, he's not been good so far.
Blade in the 5-hole, like, yeah, this game's great. I don't want to say game stack because Cheese is coming on, but yeah,
he's probably in the bullpen and going to jump on here momentarily. I was going through the StatCast stuff, for Ohtani. They do percentiles, right? He's in the 100th percentile. The 100th percentile in hard hit percentage, barrel percentage, X slug, average exit velocity. He's 98th in batting average. I don't know if he's okay or not. I hope he's okay, but it's insane. It's just absolute bonkers how good he is at hitting baseballs. Let's go ahead and recap the board, Bobby. I want some Bobby bombs here. Top tier, the number one tier on the board is Super Mario World, according to TJ. He power ranked Mario's, which by the way, Mario, a theme for the show. We'll reveal that in a second as well. The Braves, the Cubs, the Dodgers in tier 1. Super Mario Brothers 3. That's the Mets, Texas, the Yankees, Arizona, Oakland. I'm just reading the emblem. It's Sacramento. We're just the Athletics. Super Mario Sunshine right in the middle. That's the Tampa, Colorado. Colorado in the middle. I think it's the highest they've been all season long. And then the Angels also there in the middle. Super Mario World 2, Toronto, Washington, KC, Houston, the Giants. And all the way at the bottom in the gutter, Super Mario Bros. 2, Pittsburgh, no O'Neill Cruz, the Marlins, Seattle, San Diego. Bobby, give me a 2, 3, 4, feel ambitious as you want to be. Who is going yard?
Juan Soto's 1. Aranda will be 2. Shohei's too easy. Let's go. Let's go Grychuk for Arizona.
Speaking of, Spidey bums are also scrolling there at the bottom. TJ, Spidey, every 50 likes. The first 2 were Matt Olson. The second one was Mookie Betts, plus 575. That's a pretty good number. Yeah, that's a pretty solid number. TJ found himself. I don't know if that's everywhere, but TJ's locked it in for himself, if no other place in his Canadian book. Let's just tell the people about Fleet Thursday. This athlete is,
for what it's worth, I don't use the odds I put on the screen are never my Canadian one that I utilize. It's always just the top one on Scores and Odds.
Gotcha.
575 across a few different sites, and then 540 on FanDuel.
I like it. Again, Springs, it's a pretty good number. First clue was retired. Second clue is a Hall of Famer. We know this person's retired. We know they're a Hall of Famer. Cup was not in reference to what they wear, but what they hold up. This person is a 2-time Stanley Cup winner. We were going to talk about, we talk about Mario Brothers, right? Mario Brothers was kind of the theme of the show. He did have a brother he played with. Played one game. He played one game with his brother in 1986. Hart was something I was going to use because this person won the Hart Trophy 3 times. Which sport that is, I think. Also, I think one of the first people ever to be in the Hall of Fame, Hall of Famer, and still playing while in the Hall of Fame because they retired. They immediately put him in the Hall of Fame.
As soon as I called you out, then you gave me that little smirk. I realized, oh wow, this is like one of the
It's Gordie Howe, right?
That it is not redundant.
It's Gordie Howe.
No, it's not Gordie Howe. But yeah, so they put him in the Hall of Fame immediately. He retired for 3 years. He had non-Hodgkin's, I believe. He ended up owning the team and coming back and playing while in the Hall of Fame. His nickname is Super Mario. Bobby.
Yeah, Mario Lemieux. He had a brother?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't very good. He bounced around and he played one game. He played mostly minor league stuff. Route 66, he was number 66. That was the fifth clue. And my favorite clue, the third clue was March. What is that in reference to? March of the Penguins. What team did he play for?
So he was my favorite player as a kid.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, it wasn't Bobby Orr or somebody in Boston?
No, him and Sakic were my 2 favorites.
Sakic was Colorado, though. I don't understand.
I know. I don't know.
You just don't like the local teams or everything. Did you play NHL 94?
Yeah.
Back in the day? Yeah. Was it Chris Chelios? The Jeremy Roenick. That's the one who was unstoppable, right? In the NHL game? I'm pretty sure it was Roenick.
Yeah. I was 5 or 16, so I don't remember.
Well, whatever it was. You could hit the buttons, right?
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of hitting the buttons, hit the like button. What do you got?
Sakic was a beast. Like that Colorado team with Forsberg and
Patrick Waugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the back end of Sakic and the front end of Forsberg, if I'm not mistaken, right? Sakic was the vet.
Yeah.
My timeline might be off, though. I'm not sure.
Why would Ray Bork be
They
my
had
favorite?
the back end of like Paul Correa, but they had Sakic and Forsberg in their primes together. Rob Blake, Adam Foote.
Yeah, Adam Foote scored the winner versus Florida.
Adam Foote is a pull. That is a good pull, TJ.
Alex.
I was going to say Adam Foote.
Milan Hayduk was really nice.
Yeah.
Like that team was just so damn good.
The thing about dudes, they can just sit around for hours just naming old baseball players and old hockey players, right? And be perfectly content.
I don't really follow hockey at all anymore, but like as a kid, I followed it aggressively. And like
I did the same. I
don't
follow it all, but I used to love it.
Rob Brindamore. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's bring TJ back. Let's bring in Kirkwood. Let's bring in Dave Potts. It is crunch time. Let's bring him in right now. Dave Potts, shout out to you. Shout out to your daughter on congratulations on the graduation over the weekend. Dave, give me a random hockey player from like 20 years ago. Who's the first guy to pop in your head?
I mean, I would have said Joe Sakic too, who's not random at all, but like, he's who comes to mind because I lived in Colorado right when the Avalanche came and were awesome.
Oh,
that was the last couple of years I lived in Colorado, so that they were just everything there. It was fun. I wasn't even like a huge fan per se, but it was just it was almost like college town atmosphere in a big city with that hockey team coming out of nowhere like that. They didn't come out of nowhere. They came out of Canada, I think, but you know what I mean?
Mine's Eric Lindros.
Lindros. Concussions did him in, but he was amazing back in the day.
First random one that popped into my head when you said that, Dean, was Adam Oates.
That's a good one, too. That's a good one.
Jason B said Dean was a big Ron Tugnut fan.
Yeah. He was a goalie for, I believe, Philadelphia, predominantly. I'm not sure. I do remember he was a goalie, but there you go. We can do this all day. Kirkwood, how are things? Everything all right? Everything good?
I'm sick, and no, things are not good. Jason Tatum, I mean, Bobby's euphoric over there after Tatum going down like that.
Kirkwood texted me this morning, yeah.
And,
they're going to win the series, Kirkwood. This is where you double down. They're going to come back.
I don't care about that. I care about it sucks his career. You know, he may never be the same.
He was never going to be great anyways. He's the Tin Man.
He was the Tin freaking Man. Amazing last night.
He's the Tin Man.
He had like one of the best games of his life. And
they would have lost that game. I guarantee you.
They probably would have lost that game.
It would have been his fault.
What does that have to do with anything?
The coaching's terrible. The thought process of just shooting threes from everywhere. I'm fine with shooting threes. I think you should be shooting threes. But like it's just they have no half court.
Tatum played the most amazing game ever. Yes, he did take some really ill-advised threes down the stretch, and where he falls into that trap where he just dribbles and takes a step back, or he thought he was Steph Curry. I hate that too, but that's Missoula. That's the way he wants to play.
Hoosiers Hang Banner said it in chat. He's no Paul Pierce. He's no. Paul
He's
Pierce.
better.
No, he's not.
No Paul Pierce.
I mean,
they'd be winning the series.
He's also like one of the best guys, like morally and like all of that, and great for the city. And his career is now. It sucks to see something like that. I mean, I would never be celebrating it like you do, but that's just me.
Yeah. Wish a speedy recovery. He's probably going to be out next season. Big bummer for Boston and for Tatum. That's not the way you want to win if you're in New York, obviously. But we got to step aside. We got to get out of here. Crunch time. You got, 50 minutes or so. You got Dave Potts. You have Kirkwood. You have TJ. I guess TJ will be hosting, playing the role of Kevin Roth. So, TJ, take it away.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to MLB Crunch Time. I am your host today, TJ Zwarych. We got no Kevin Roth, but thankfully we got no weather issues on this main slate either. We got some stuff to worry about in the early slate, but that doesn't concern us, so we are breaking it down to the sharpest minds in the biz. First up, Dave Potts, CheeseIsGood. How you doing, Dave? I feel like I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I've been off for a few days for some celebrations, and we're back. Good slate. I'm glad there's no weather. I would have loved to hear you talk about it, but it's fine that there's not. Feel free to give us some. We'll get some dew point from Kirk. So
I was going to do it, but I was already on the show for crunch time, so I'm strictly I can't mix both. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, I hear you.
I actually did prepare a little bit of a weather breakdown in Roth's absence. Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Doppler boy up in the spot. Yo! Check the clouds, what the weather got. Let's go. Kevin Roth on the beat. That's hot. Okay.
I had to do it one more time, even though he wasn't here. What's up, KirkDiese? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Told you.
Outside of Jason Tatum stuff.
Tough night like that, and I'm also sick. So been better, but other than that, I'm fine.
The cold kind of, when you came in talking about Tatum, the cold kind of made it sound like you're holding back tears of just like it.
I have a weird thing. So I have a cold, and it's like allergies are just rampant right now because we just got nice weather for the first time. So all the pollen's out. So it's weird. It's a nice little mix, a nice little concoction I got going. Cold / allergies.
Smash the like button for those watching us on YouTube. Smash it for KirkDiese. Every like you hit, he gets one extra white blood cell to get a little extra healthier. I think that's what white blood cells kill off the.
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds legit.
Yeah,
that's what. Yeah.
Dropped 2 Spidey bombs already. Matt Olson and Mookie Betts. Third one coming at 150 likes. So keep smashing that like button. Cheese. The GrindersLive guys already gave their breakdown of the slate. They're talking some leverage. They're talking some game stacks. What would be your breakdown of tonight's slate?
I hope you didn't listen to the descriptive adjective words on the previous show because they mean nothing. We can use baseball terms here if you want, or we can make up words that mean nothing, whatever you prefer. So it's a weird slate with like such mega chalk at pitching, despite having so many good pitchers. Like, I really feel like I'm supposed to say you shouldn't play any mega chalk pitchers who aren't just the best pitchers of all time when you have this many good pitchers. And yet I will also tell you that I am playing those mega chalk pitchers. Like, it's just the pricing just is what it is. Talking about Dylan Cease mostly, and then Ben Brown on DraftKings. I think like the most accurate way to say it is you're probably supposed to play Senga and Fried and Wu and Valdez and Ray and Fott and Bubic and let everyone else play heavy chalk when they're like, but the salaries are just so wrong that I'm just playing what I think are the underpriced plays who are as good as the expensive plays. And I know some portion of the field will still overthink it. It's not like it's going to be an 80% owned play. So I have a super silly amount of Cease and Brown on DK and Cease on FanDuel. And if you want to do something else, I get it. You're probably kind of supposed to, but I'm really not. I will give you the something else. If we pretended that Cease and Brown were not on this slate, I would have Schwellenbach first, what salary adjusted. Probably Fried second, like spend up to be different. Then I guess Fott, Ray, Senga, Wu, Bubic. In that order. But I just don't care. Like, I don't need to spend an extra $2,000 to get the same pitcher. I wrote about it in the musings today. I would really like to not just be playing the obvious guys, but I think the obvious guys are just the play. And a lot of people won't do it because that's the way this game works. That's all I have to say.
I am muted because the dogs are barking. My bad. KirkDiese, how about you? Who are you prioritizing at pitcher? Are you going to eat the Cease chalk, or are you getting away from it?
It's so obvious to me. I mean, if I look at the pitching, he should be the highest priced pitcher on the slate. He's not. He's 2,200 less than Max Fried. You can't play. I just wouldn't. I mean, you can do it for ownership, like he said, but like that's your only reason. I fully expect him to have a good game. I was on him when they played against the Yankees. He's an ace. He's got electric stuff. It's a cupcake matchup against the Troutless Angels, who do have strike out a ton and have a incredibly low. There's second highest strikeouts against right-hand pitching, also the second lowest WRC plus. It's just a no-brainer for me to use Cease and move on. And then I guess it gets a little more interesting for SP2 because Ben Brown, great spot against Miami. Plus, wind blowing in a little bit, but it just as long as it's not blowing out, it's kind of cold. But I'm not the most confident in him as a pitcher. He's not an ace. So I could make more cases for going to like Schwellenbach, for even going for like Jack Leiter, who stinks, but is facing the Rockies, who also stink. And you can try SP2, but Cease is, for me, lock city for SP1.
All right.
The other thing I'll say, just because it exists in my silly world, I do have a couple of Kyle Freeland lineups. If I just have to have all the expensive bats and want to hope I get 10 points, if you need just a crazy full punt on DK.
Not quite as cheap on FanDuel, but still relatively way too cheap and almost $2,000 cheaper than Max Fried there as well. I assume he's the clear cash game guy on FanDuel also. But geez, would you be as firm on him in tournaments there as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. And he won't be as high owned because you only get the one pitcher. And again, like Kirk said, he should be the most expensive pitcher on the slate. So yeah, I'm way over. I have 80% ish on FanDuel probably.
All right, KirkDiese, any other large field tournament guys you want to throw in there?
I mean, there isn't really. It's obviously Robbie Ray kind of stands out from an ownership standpoint, just because he's like down at the bottom and he can always have a big game. I prefer the other side. I think it's a really good spot for the Diamondbacks because the way they run the bases. And there should, when he has no command, they're certainly going to be putting guys on base. So I side with that, but you can always play him for upside. So just look for any guys with strikeout upside. Brian Wu would be a potentially upside guy on FanDuel because it's the Yankees. Yes, they can smash anyone, but it's a great park and they do strike out a bunch. Senga as well. But to me, it ceases my priority though.
I'm going to be pretty close to even on Cease, and then I'm mixing in a few other guys as well. But I also am going to play, when we get to the stack portion here, I don't want to fade Cease by any means. I'm not quite comfortable enough with him to load up as like a lock button. But I do think I want to play some Angels against him just because he does have that high walk rate. It's not a good spot, but at mega ownership, I'm going to be playing some Angels stacks as well. Dave, who are you prioritizing for stacks today?
So I will say I absolutely have a couple Angel stacks, not because I'm worried about the walk rate, but because he did have that forearm cramp in the last start. There's a non-zero chance that he leaves in the first inning with a forearm cramp. So keep that in mind. So I think the stacks that everyone likes are the Dodgers, Cubs, and Braves. But I don't really think the Dodgers and Cubs are like super chalky because they're so expensive. I wouldn't be worried about ownership with them, even though I think everyone would tell you they're their two favorite teams. I think the Braves will be higher owned because they're easier to fit. And then on DK, I think Texas is very chalky because of the salaries. I'm not over on. I've been playing a lot of Texas recently, and I get it. I don't like them as chalk against a guy who doesn't walk anybody. So I'm a little under on Texas. The teams I like to be a little different. The Mets would be my favorite. I like Toronto and good old Colorado Rockies.
Oh,
I'm getting to a little Rockies as well. It doesn't feel great, but weirdly enough, Leiter hasn't been very good, but in the BAT projections, the Rockies are actually kind of popping a little bit today. I
non-ironically think they're one of the best teams on the slate. Like, the only way they can break a slate is if they get walked a bunch, and Leiter has walked 17% of righties, and they all have power, at least the top 6. So I really actually do like them.
KirkDiese, how about you?
I won't be playing them, but I will.
Probably the best idea.
I will cheer you guys on. when I see you guys up top. So the thing with Texas, it's just they're so cheap for the most part, right? Like you got like Josh Jung batting third for 3.6K, who has home run upside. Obviously, the Cuban Missile, Adolis Garcia has upside at 4K. He's been terrible, right? He did homer the other day though. Again, so did Jock Peterson. Like a lot of these guys have been terrible. And Jock is probably going to find his way in this game too at some point. But they're very cheap, and you're able. So I like the upside. So I kind of like down the order though. I like 6 Jonah Heim because people just tend not to play him as much, and he's kind of expensive at 4.3K batting 6. And Jake Berger I like a lot for a home run. You know, I'm just trying to pick home runs here. That's all. And I like Adolis Garcia. I wrote him up. It's one of my favorite plays. Other than that, obviously the Dodgers probably have the highest chance of putting up a ton of runs tonight, the most runs. Wind blowing out a little bit. The lefty for Shohei puts him down a little notch for me, but not really not that much that it matters. Mookie Betts, I love. Obviously, Will Smith, I love. Andy Pages. You can play Kike Hernandez, and then maybe Conforto since he's in there already against the lefty. I feel pretty confident he'll stay in the game. Excuse me, my voice. But and then I like the Braves. I like any team with home run upside. Any of these guys that can go off, and so the Braves fit that bill, and the Cubs obviously.
Love the Cubs tonight as well. We are 13 points away from the next Spidey Bomb, and they may be a Cub. Sorry, you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that I wanted to get the Arizona Diamondbacks love out there. I think they're going to be really low owned against Robbie Ray, and if he starts walking up, I love the way they steal bags, and they can, Eugenio Suarez is in a good spot. Ketel Marte is a great top bat, so I really like this Diamondbacks stack.
Yeah, I'm with you there as well. I'm gonna try and be overweight on Robbie Ray and be overweight on the Diamondbacks, both sides of that situation. If you are playing some DFS and you want some of the highest quality projections and tools for a great price, the MLB DFS annual option is $425. However, we dropped the price of our Combo Pro product to mirror the MLB annual package. You may as well get some more stuff for the same price. Combo Pro gives 6 months. Combo Pro 6 months gives you access to our tools, contents, projections for every sport except NASCAR at a cheaper price than their monthly package. You'd actually save about 35% by choosing 6 months instead of monthly. Sign up now for MLB projections, NBA content, PGA data, and more. And be sure to check out our Props and Pick'em package for a discount. The Props and Pick'em package features daily fantasy prop picks and fantasy pick'em selections from many of your favorite RotoGrinders experts. We're also knocking 50% off the first month when you sign up at the link down below, right down there in the description. Let's start going position by position here. Let me refresh. Have we hit 150 likes for the third Spidey Bomb? No, not quite. Still 10 away. So keep hitting that like button for us. Cheese, going to you first. Who do you like at catcher today?
I think me and everybody like 2 catchers in the Dodgers-A's game. Like that's like the whole position. They're so far ahead of everybody else, even the guys who are more expensive than them. So I slightly prefer Langoliers to Smith, but I love like those 2 are just great plays and not really expensive. And if pivoting off them, rather than going up to like Kelly or Raleigh, like I would just do like Hunter Goodman or Jonah Heim in that same price range. Because like they're like Langoliers is only 4K on DraftKings, and Smith at 4 or 5. I don't really need to punt too much. So like you could play, like Drake Baldwin is interesting as a cheaper guy. But really those 2 just stand out so much. You could also do Higashioka, who will be kind of left out of Ranger stacks because they got the 2 catchers. But really it's just those 2 guys.
I'm mixing in some Cal Raleigh too, just because it never feels like, even though it's a terrible matchup in a terrible ballpark, feels like we're never really going to get him at 1% ownership too often. So I do want to get to some Raleigh as well. KirkDiese, how about you? Who you playing at? Almost said center at catcher today.
Yeah, so I like Will Smith, obviously. I like Langoliers, the 2 chalk pieces, but I'm probably playing more Drake the Snake Baldwin. So he's my guy here just because he's batting face 3,400. He's got a little pop. Higashioka is certainly playable. I like Jonah Heim. Carson Kelly, like Dave said. And then, that's pretty much it.
One guy I'd want to throw in there as well is Ballesteros, who is 3K batting 7th for the Cubs today, making his first start for them. KirkDiese, take us to first base.
He's a good prospect. So, I just saw that. First base, it is Shohei Ohtani. Butthole says the extra steal upside against Springs. Springs giving up 12 stolen bases. Says Dean in chat. I would fact check that though, because Dean likes to embellish a lot. But other than that, Matt Olson, Vlad, good one. Jake Berger is just super cheap on FanDuel, especially. I think he's like 2,100. He's also cheap on DraftKings at 2,800. He hasn't been great either, but just home run hunting. Jonathan Aranda, I like a lot. Freddie Freeman. And then Michael Busch, because I like a lot of these Cubs.
All right, Cheats. How about you? Who do you like at first?
Vlad and Alonso and Olson are my top 3 guys, but kind of by a lot, especially on FanDuel, where Vlad and Olson are 32 and 33, or maybe both 33. That's most of my pool. I do like getting the lefty Dodgers, especially Freeman. Like, people are going to play Ohtani because he's Ohtani. I don't think people are going to play Freeman, even maybe in Dodger stacks. So I would try to get him in the Dodger stacks, like the one guy who's an elite hitter who won't be as owned. Like Jake Berger is, he's too cheap. Like he is a home run guy. He's boom or bust, more bust than boom. But like at that price, so what if he goes over 4? Like if he hits a home run, which is quite possible, he's a steal. That's really it. I mean, I think Ben Rice is fine. I do like Michael Busch. He's also cheap on FanDuel. And I feel like there was somebody else. Nah, there wasn't.
All right, take us to second.
It's all right. Ketel Marte is a very good play. I don't think you have to spend up at second. I like Albies as well, but again, I don't think you have to spend up. It's fine. If you have money, I would play one of those 2 guys. And on FanDuel, I would play Mookie Betts. But at essentially half the price, like just not half the price. I don't know how to do math anymore. Brandon Lau is, $1,500 less than Marte. Kiki Hernandez is that same price. Semien is 3,100. It's just there's not that much of a drop off from those top guys to that like 3K range. So I do kind of like punting at second. I'm playing a little Ernie Clement as a full punt if I need it on DraftKings. But on FanDuel, Lau at 26 and Albies at 29 is about as low as I'm going.
KirkDiese, how about you? Who are you playing in second?
Yeah, I like the same guys. Brandon Lau would be my favorite. Marcus Semien, just because Texas is in a good spot. He's been pretty bad. I mean, a lot of these Texas guys have been bad. Ketel Marte has the upside. I think if he gets on, he's probably going to steal. I also think he's got, he hits left-handed pitching much better. So I like him. Albies, sure. Horner, sure for Cubs, but he's down in the order, but part of the Cubs stacks. Yeah, I don't think you need to I think second, like it's pretty clear who and obvious who the plays are, and I like them all.
All right. Take us to third base. If anyone playing NBA tonight, Donovan Mitchell is playing. Sam Merrill is not playing. But KirkDiese, take us to third.
I'm betting the Cavs. Just throwing that out there. Josh Young.
If the Cavs win, by the way, we actually will have an NBA crunch time on Thursday because MLB starts early in the day. And so we will have a live NBA show on Thursday if the Cavs win tonight and there are enough games to do so.
Good to know. Austin Riley, massive home run upside against Soroka. Soroka's been looking pretty good so far, but has struggled. Yes, it's revenge. But Give me Riley. Give me a lot of these Braves guys. Josh Jung, I like for cheap, batting third. Junior Caminero, the guy just rakes and hits bombs, and that's Barrios does struggle with the home run ball at times. So like that. Mark Vientos is super cheap. Don't like the ballpark so much, but for that price against pretty much Mitch Keller was like, it's crazy how the peaks and like valleys where we've had with him. Like he started off as like the best pitcher in baseball. Was it last season or the season before? I can't even remember, but he was like insane.
He was supposed to be so good. Yeah. And it just it popped for like a couple months. We were like, there he is, and it's gone.
Eugenio Suarez, love him tonight. 4,200, double dong upside. Like Matt Chapman as well. And those are. I'll let Dave take the rest.
All right, Dave. Who do you like third, and then take your time and lead us into shortstop afterwards because I need to step away for a second.
All right. Yeah, Kirk said I could have the rest, but he said all of them. There are no rests.
Exactly. I want to leave you the one guy who I didn't say.
Yeah. Okay, so I think for the salary, Josh Young is the guy. He's too cheap. He actually has been hitting okay, unlike some of the Rangers. So him and Riley are the bulk of my pool, and the chalk. I essentially just like the chalk everywhere tonight. Yippee. Okay, so Chapman, sure. Ryan McMahon for a home run, sure. I like the Caminero call. You can always do Suarez. The team that's not getting mentioned or played, and I don't really love them individually, is the Padres. But there's plenty of case for Padres individually or together. Like Soriano can, if he just walks a bunch of guys and then BABIP goes a little wonky, then you got the Padres against the Angels bullpen. So I'm on board with Machado if you want to spend a little money and not play Riley. But that's really about it. Moving on to the shortstop. I think Bobby Witt is going to be even lower owned than we're saying. Like this is your chance to get a moderately low owned Bobby Witt. Because I think Betts definitely picks up more ownership, and I think Lindor probably does. So that leaves Witt, and you could say the same for like CJ Abrams, just good players who have to get overlooked because we only have so many shortstop spots, 1 or 2 on FanDuel if you really want to. I definitely like Betts the best, but I also like Lindor a lot. I seem to be the only person who's playing the Blue Jays, although Bichette probably still picks up some ownership on DK because he's only 3,300. So I'm fine with him. Swanson, certainly. Jacob Wilson, I think, is fine in that mid-tier. That's about it. Essentially, Betts 1, a little drop off to Lindor. Witt to be a little different if you have the money. Then you go cheaper.
Ben Rice is not in the lineup. I'm not sure if you guys talked about that already, but if anyone's playing some Yankee stacks, get your Ben Rice out of there. KirkDiese, who do you like at short?
Also known as Uncle Ben. I like the same as I think it's like there's legit just 5 plays at shortstop. I think it's Mookie Betts, Francisco Lindor, Bobby Witt, Bo Bichette, because Baz has, the wheels fell off of Baz the last 2 starts. He's really talented, but his like slider has been awful, and he's been hanging it too as well. And so that screams some home runs. So like Bichette and Vlad come to mind for that. CJ Abrams would be the last one, like because those all 5 of those guys I think have upside. They all can pretty much steal base, can hit homers, and then other than that, it's like you're just hoping for a lucky outcome. Like you could play like Edwards or Swanson or Jeremy Pena, but they're not even all in good matchups, and they're not all that good in general. So I think it's a 5-man list for shortstop.
No 2K Jordan Lawler making his first start?
Maybe. That would be the one to go down to if you need the salary.
Yeah, he is looking decent as well. Take us to the outfield.
All right. I'm going to try to steal as many of Dave's plays as I can.
And then you can name everyone and then say I can have the rest.
Yeah, you can have the rest. And I might leave one. Shohei Ohtani. First A base or outfield eligible. So what can I say? Langford is the big bobber for Texas. Soto, obviously. Kyle Tucker, awesome spot. 6,300 is kind of tough, but you can make it work. Belozo is by far the worst pitcher on the slate in Chicago. So I definitely do like these Cubs, and Tucker and Armstrong are like the start of the stack there. So you have to like them. The Cuban Missile, Adolis Garcia, Marcelo Zuna, all these guys, big home run upside. If you need some price savings, Sam Haggerty's leading off, probably gets pitch hit for. But 2,800 is certainly cheap leading off for Texas. Then you got, if you want a stolen base potential, Chandler Simpson, 3,300 leading off for the Rays. Corbin Carroll, high price, probably not going to be played much tonight. I like him. And then Aaron Judge, and I'll leave Dave the rest.
Sam Haggerty
enough.
is a funny guy, because if it's me and I'm a switch hitter and I'm being pinch hit for from a certain side of the plate, I'm probably just going to stop pitch hitting and stick to the one, switch hitting and stick to the one I'm good at. But Dave, how about you? Who do you like in the outfield?
Yeah, that's got to be when he gets pinch hit for with Jock Peterson. I mean, that's a slap right in the face for a switch hitter. Like, let me bring in this guy who's going to strike out instead of you. So essentially, I'm not really playing the sort of 6K range on DK and the 4K range on FanDuel. Not because I don't like them, but it's just I like the 5K range and the mid threes just as much. Mostly Rooker, Wyatt Langford, and Soto. Those are like my three favorites, and considerably cheaper than the Tucker, who, of course, great. Ohtani, Judge, Carroll, Tatis, sure, play all those guys. But what I found is I'm building, because if you're playing Cease and Brown, you can play 4 to 5K bats everywhere and just get all, you don't have to punt anything. Whereas if you do Ohtani or something, then you have to play kind of a nonsense player somewhere. So I don't love those guys, although sure. In the mid tier, I think Ozuna is probably the chalkiest, and I'm fine with that. I do like Adolis Garcia. We play in my nonsense Rockies here, Brenton Doyle and Jordan Beck. Gurriel, I like for cheap. That's all I want to name. I mean, there's plenty more outfielders, but that hits the highlights.
All right. Give us some home run calls, guys. We got 3 Spidey Bums scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Matt Olson plus 400, Mookie Betts plus 575, and Pete Crow Armstrong is plus 480 over on FanDuel. Those are the 3 guys for me today. I'm betting to hit a home run. Cheese, I know you don't look at the odds. I know you don't bet them, but you're scarily good at just picking out random dudes to hit home runs. And so we need you to do that again right now.
All right. For the non-random one, I'll go with Brent Rooker. Yeah. For the slightly more random, Michael Toglia. And who's more random than that?
The guys in this picture with you, with the 2 of you are more random.
How about Drake Baldwin?
There it is. I thought I lost it for a second. Juggalo bomb time.
What a night.
Who do you got, KirkDiese? Who's not going out of the park?
I'm going to have to go with who was it? So he took my Rooker. In Rooker, he's criminally he's going to be criminally underowned for a matchup against Landon Knack. He's way down, like around the 5% area. So
and it's like cheap too.
Yeah. I'm gonna manifest. I don't actually believe it that he's definitely gonna do it, but I'm gonna manifest it here, and that's Adolis Garcia, because I want him to. But and other than that, I'm gonna say Anthony Santander against Baz, also gonna be very low owned tonight at 4,300, for which he hasn't been the greatest this season so far, but still has the pop. So I think he's going to break out, so I'll take him.
All right, we'll start taking some questions, and then I'll first go to the RotoGrinders live stream Discord chat. Then I will go to the YouTube chat. If we run out of questions before lock, I will get us out of here a little bit early because we do have a PGA show for the PGA Championship starting right at 7:15 today. And so if we run out of questions, I'll get out of here a little bit early. If not, we'll go right up to lock. So make sure you keep smashing the like button, keep throwing your questions in there, and we got you covered. Let's see. What do we got for some QQs? DKGPP, stacking the Dodgers. Would you rather go? All right. This is a 2v2v2 cheese. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Ohtani Moniak, Ohtani Burger, or Freeman Simpson?
Ohtani Burger.
All right, that is it right now for the RotoGrinders Discord. We're going straight to the YouTube chat. Alan Trejo or Jordan Lawler at KirkDiese?
I'm not on any of the Rockies, so give me Lawler.
Yeah, I like that today as well. Top 2 FanDuel tournament SPs, 9,800 and under, cheese.
I mean, I think it's the chalky Cease, and then I'll go Schwellenbach next.
All right. QQ for KirkDiese, Berrios or Schwellenbach in a FanDuel GPP?
Schwellenbach.
I feel like we didn't talk about Berrios really in the pitching section. Cheese, what are your thoughts on him today? Do you think he's viable?
He is viable. Like, if we didn't have Ben Brown there, Berrios would be talked about more. And it's not like Ben Brown is Cy Young. So I don't really believe that the strikeout spike we've seen in the last 2 starts, but he's like fine. I wouldn't yell at you for playing him. I don't have any, but I don't think you're doing something wrong.
Rooker or Juan Soto in cash today, KirkDiese?
I'd say in cash, Juan Soto, and GPP, I would take Rooker.
I think that's a good call there as well. That's it from the scrolling up. Going back to the bottom. Abrams and Soto or Lindor and Adolis Garcia, FanDuel cash, Dave?
Lindor and Garcia. That's pretty toss-uppy.
Jake Berger or Sam Haggerty for DK cash, KirkDiese?
Wow. It should be probably Haggerty just because of the lineup position. It's cash, but I'm going to go with Berger.
Wood or Soderstrom, DK cash, cheese?
Soderstrom.
Would you stack Cubs 4, 6, 7, 8 with the Dodgers top hitters or the Braves top hitters? So essentially, I guess the question is, who do you like better with a Cub stack, Braves or Dodgers, KirkDiese?
I like the Dodgers better, but because of ownership, give me the Braves if you're going to get all the home run bats.
All right. Schwellenbach or Valdez, DK tournament, cheese?
I prefer Schwellenbach.
All right. Pardon me. I'm just making the thumbnails for our PGA show that is coming out right after this. Kike or Brandon Lau for a DK GPP one-off, KirkDiese?
Brandon Lau.
A little late to the party, but Tim's Guy Broccoli Boys wants to know, have we congratulated RG's own Tasteful Tides on winning the 121 single entry last night? We did on GrindersLive, but we will again. Shout out to Tim. Congratulations for taking it down. And it's no surprise. Tim is one of the best single entry players around. He's doing that on the regular, but still.
I heard that we're gonna do a Tasteful Tides week coming up, maybe where we're just gonna celebrate Tim for the entire week next week.
It's about time, honestly.
Yeah.
And shout out to Tim because He is. We talked about Steve's going to be gone for the next few weeks. Congrats again to Steve. He just had a new baby. And so while I'm taking over Steve's stuff, Tim is going to be handling the weekend producing in addition to his shows as well. So congratulations and a shout out and it's a good time to celebrate our guy Tim. What else do we got here? We lost KirkDiese.
He's had enough of this Tim talk. I'm out on this.
Crow Armstrong or Vlad for DK Cash. Cheese.
In cash, Crow Armstrong, but I like Vlad. I have more Vlad tonight for tournaments, but for cash, just go with the Cubs guy.
Dean wants to know what's on the agenda for celebrating Tasteful Tides Week. Well, we're taking suggestions, Dean. We're definitely willing to take on some suggestions. All we know is we will not be having fun. No fun will be had while we celebrate Tim. One stack to win it all, Cheese. Who do you got?
What is it all? Define the tournament that it all refers to.
Well, interestingly enough, we have two different questions. One is for large field GPPs and one is for a 350 person contest.
350 Mets, large field Rockies.
There you go. FanDuel Cash, what do you think about just punting it 2K flat, Sam Haggerty?
It's totally fine. If you need a punt, you can play 2K guy. Like, I don't really like Sam Haggerty, but anything at 2K is fine if it makes the rest of your lineup work.
He can. Somebody is stacking the Mets, Andrew Martinez, and he can only play two: Lindor, Soto, and Alonso. KirkDiese, who would you leave out between Lindor, Soto, and Alonso tonight?
Give me. I would leave out Alonso.
DK tournament. What do you think about getting to some punts? Ernie Clement and Addison Barger today for the Blue Jays. Tim, or sorry, Dave. It's not too much Tim talking.
Yeah, I honestly love them. I have a lot of Blue Jays. Yes, is my answer.
Barger's been red hot lately as well. He's been playing some really, really good baseball for the Blue Jays. DK Cash, Jacob Wilson and Juan Soto, or CJ Abrams and Marcell Ozuna, KirkDiese?
Two. Ozuna.
Yeah, no Jacob Wilson in Cash today. DK Cash, outfielder 4K or below, Dave, who would you go with?
Probably Verdugo.
All right. Next one, DK GPP, KirkDiese, Brandon Lau and Mickey Moniak, or Marcus Semien and Chandler Simpson?
That second option. Simpson.
Favorite cheap pitcher for a FanDuel GPP, Dave? If you're not going Cease, you need cheaper than that. Who would be your favorite?
I mean, if Ben Brown counts as cheap, he's 8,300. If you need cheap, which I personally wouldn't do. I mean, you could do Jack Leiter, I guess. But personally, I don't have anything lower than Ben Brown.
All right. Going back to Discord chat here. That's it. That's it for questions. I think we have hit everything, and we still have 10 minutes to go. Cheese, why don't you give us a quick recap of the top stacks and the top pitchers, and then just like kind of who your cores are, and then we'll give people a couple more chances to throw in a couple more questions, and then we'll get out of here a few minutes early so I can set up that PGA show coming right after this. Noto and SDL Cards breaking down the PGA Championship.
Yeah, the overview is the pitching chalk, I think, is great with Dylan Cease. I'm also playing Ben Brown chalk on DK with Schwellenbach being my next guy in. That's about it. Stacks, the three kind of obvious ones, Cubs, Dodgers, Braves. I like the Mets and Blue Jays as well. There's a bunch of stacks, but I think if you're just looking for what is most likely to score the most runs, it's Cubs, Dodgers, Braves. Most positions have just a couple top guys. So, like, Rooker is my highest owned bat. Rooker and Langoliers, the two A's. Young at third, probably. And Wyatt Langford, at least on FanDuel, I would call probably my highest owned plays.
KirkDiese, how about you? Give us a little recap of who your core is today. Top pitchers, top stacks, and few players you're most overweight on.
Cease, Brown, and Schwellerbach. I'm not deviating off the chalk. I love Cease. I'll have him everywhere. As far as stacks goes, the Dodgers, I like. You can play them easily with Texas, but you should be a little cognizant that's an easy stack to make, 2 stacks to make that people are going to play together. So throw at least like a one-off something, or play a guy like the Dave Potts move. I like to say, like, you take out like the first base and just put a high upside first base from another game in there, and for differentiation, I like that. But Texas, Atlanta, the Cubs, and then my kind of like out there stack that I don't think is going to be played that much is the Diamondbacks against Robbie Ray.
All right, great calls, fellas. It doesn't seem like we got much more going on for questions, except for one from Margay Dong Yeezy. If you are or if you were playing single entry today, would that include a Ranger stack? Dave, will go to you first, then to KirkDiese.
If I had like one single entry team, it would not have a full Ranger stack. It would probably have 1 or maybe 2 Rangers bats, but not a full stack.
Some Josh Jung, maybe a second guy in there.
Cuban Missile for 4K.
How about you, KirkDiese? Would you play the Rangers in single entry today?
I have no problem playing it. Just, I would probably stay away from the Dodgers with them. But I like the mini stack just fine, just trying to pick up home run bats. I also said I like the 6 with Jonah Heim, and that's kind of down low in the order. But my favorite bats are Jake Berger and Adolis Garcia.
All right, that'll do it for questions. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. We got the Spidey Bomb scrolling at the bottom of the screen, plus 400 for Matt Olton, plus 575 for Mookie Betts, plus 480 for Pete Crow Armstrong. We got a couple questions about the weather in the Mets game. And while I can't tell you myself, I don't have an answer for you. What I can do is pull up Kevin Roth's Twitter page and see if he has given us an update on the Mets game at all. Philly and New York Mets, probably wet, but light rain. I would guess they'd play through it. Philly was postponed while he was on the plane, but he is off the plane now and hasn't given any extra updates against Mets. He says it looks like it'll be a little wet, but it's light rain, and he expects them to play through it. Thank you so much. I got one more that snuck in there. Large field DK Turney, Soderstrom and Michael Garcia, or Butler and Ketel Marte, Cheese?
Butler and Marte.
Yeah, I like that side as well. That'll do it for today's show. We got about 5 minutes left to lock, but no more questions on a PGA show coming out. We'll put a little time back into your day. A reminder that we will have an NBA show on Thursday as long as Cleveland wins tonight, but we will be back for our normal MLB content tomorrow as well. So on behalf of Dean and Bobby in the first show, myself, Dave, and KirkDiese for Crunch Time, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you next time. You have been crunched.